Okay, so this is the homework help video for Unit 4 Worksheet 5, and I'm going to start with question number 1. So for question number 1, it says that Aubrey can wash all the windows of a retail store in 6 hours. So Aubrey can wash in 6 hours. And then Maxwell can wash in 9 hours. And so when I write my equation, I know that I'm doing one job. So Aubrey will take one job, and it takes her 6 hours. So one job is 6 hours long. And then plus, so now Maxwell, he's going to do one job, window washing, and it takes him 9 hours. So one job to do 9 hours. And what we want to know is, well, what if they work together to do one job? And we don't know how long that will take, so we just use T. So there's my equation that I want to use, and so I want to find my lowest common denominator. So if I look at my lowest common denominator, and I look at the first fraction, which is 6, and then the 9, and then the T. So that ends up being 54T, but there's actually a number smaller than 54 that 6 and 9 both can divide into. And so I can actually, so that's not really my lowest common denominator, because I know 18 actually is divisible by 9 and 6, so I could also use 18T, right? And it really doesn't matter if I use 54T or 18T as my lowest common denominator, I'll still get the same answer, regardless of which one that I use. So I'm going to take my original equation, and I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 6 times 9 times T, or 54T or 18T. Again, it doesn't matter which one I use, I'll still get the same answer. So whenever we're trying to solve an equation, we multiply both sides of the equation by 18T, because we're trying to clear our fractions. And again, if you used 54T, you'll still get the same answer. So 6 goes into 18 3 times, so I'm left with 3T. 9 goes into 18 twice, so I'm left with 2T. And then the T's cancel, and then 1 times 18 is 18. So combine like terms, so that's 5T equals 18. And then to solve for T, I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So 18 over 5, and then that's hours, right? But we don't ever talk about, oh, we're going to be 18/5 hours, so I want to convert that. So I'm going to just do long division here. So 5 goes into 18 3 times. And so then I have 3 with a remainder of 3, so that would be 3 3/5 of an hour. And again, we don't usually talk like that either. So I'm going to go ahead and convert my 3/5 of an hour, so that's like around a half an hour, so around 30 minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and convert that to minutes as well, okay? So I'm going to do that up to this side here. So I have 3 over 5, and I know there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, so I'm going to multiply by 60. So 60 times 3 is 180, and then 5 times 1 is 5. And then I would do 180 divided by 5, which is 35. So then this is the same as 3 hours and 35 minutes. Okay. All right, and then let's take a look at question number 3. So we have a group of friends start out with a $72 pay-per-view. And there's originally X friends. So my original amount is 72 over X. So that's the original cost of the price per person, right? And then 3 friends decide not to watch. So it means there's going to be 3 less friends, right? So if there's 3 friends not going to watch, there's 3 less friends. And so they would have had the $72 cost, and then they would have to take 3 friends away from that amount. And so when that happened, then each of the remaining friends have to pay $2 more. So this is the part we have to really think about this, right, to decide, okay, where does that plus $2 go, okay? So I have to think about if I had, you know, which of these 2 amounts, if I was that friend, where am I paying more, right? Because I'm trying to keep the equation balanced. So I know that I have more friends here originally, right? And so if I do 72 divided by my original amount, I would be paying less money, right? Because there's more of us, right? More of us here. When 3 friends leave, I have less friends, so I have to pay more here, right? So right now, this amount right here is costing me more money, right? That's costing me more money. So if I add $2, that makes it even more than what it originally was. And I don't want to increase that value, right? So when I add $2, I need to add it to the original amount. Because this is already costing me more money because people left. And so if I want to keep the equation balanced, I need to add $2 to the original amount. So now that they're equal. Okay, and I know that's the confusing part. Where do I add the money or where do I take the money away? So then for my LCD, I have, so this is like over 1, right? So my common denominator is x and x minus 3. And because I'm solving, I'm trying to clear my fractions and solve. So I have 2 over 1, which I don't have to have the over 1. And then I'm going to multiply that by my LCD. And then 72 over x. And then I want to multiply that by x and x minus 3. And then equals 72 over x minus 3. And then I want to multiply that by x and x minus 3. So I'm multiplying both sides of the equation by my lowest common denominator because I'm trying to clear my fractions to solve. So here nothing cancels and I don't need that over 1. So then I'm going to treat this as a single term and I'm going to multiply the 2x into both of those. So I have 2x times x and then 2x times negative 3. And then on this one, my x's cancel. So I'm going to distribute the 72 into both of those. So 72 times x, and then 72 times negative 3. And I know some of these numbers are pretty large, so you can use a calculator for that. And then the x minus 3's cancel, and then I'm left with 72x. Then I look to see is there anything that will simplify. So they both have a 72x on both sides, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel those. And so then I'm left with 2x squared minus 6x minus 216, and then equal to 0. And then from here I can look and I see that I have a GCF of a 2, so I'm going to go ahead and factor a 2 out. So that will leave me with an x squared, and then a negative 3x, and then negative 108. And so now I want to go ahead and factor this one more time. So for factors of 108, and so 108 is pretty big, right? So I'm going to do that up here just because it's a long list of numbers that work for 108. So I know 1 times 108 will work, and I want to go in order because I don't want to miss any numbers. And I know 2 goes into 108 54 times. And then I would try does 3 go in, and it does. And again, I would be doing this in my calculator because I know these numbers are pretty big. And then I know 4 goes into 108. And so far, none of these numbers are coming close to a 3, right? And then I know, let's see, 6 also goes in 18 times. And 9 goes in 12 times. And then 10 does not, and so now I would be wrapping around back to the 12. So now I have to look at all of these pairs that will work to give me a 3, and it would be 9 and 12. Where the 12 would have to be negative to get the negative 108 when we multiply, and the negative 3 when we add. And then for solving, this would give me x equals negative 9 and x equals 12. So if we're trying to do friends, we're working with real number solutions, or real solutions, so to speak. So we can't have negative 9 friends, so it would have to be 12 friends originally. So we would have 12 friends. And then that's the homework help for objective 5, or worksheet 5.